The ceremony is the most important moment of the wedding day, hands down. All the excitement, all the anxiety is leading towards this one moment. There's no second chances, there's no do-overs, and you want to capture this moment beautifully. But let's say you're limited in resources, you don't have a ton of gear at your disposal, you don't have the money to hire a second shooter, so how can you film this part of the wedding day beautifully without overthinking it? And in essence, it really boils down to smart planning, over-communication, and strategic camera placement. But one of the easiest things that you can do to help eliminate that overwhelm and that anxiousness going into the ceremony is by arriving to the venue at least an hour before you're scheduled to start filming. You want to scope out the area, you want to see where the light is coming in, where it will potentially be during the ceremony, so that you can eliminate some of those uncertainties going into this moment. Now, in terms of equipment and the gear that I recommend you use. Now, I've been filming weddings for 13 years, so I've accumulated a lot of equipment over the years. But when it comes to the cameras, the tripods, and the audio equipment that you should use, in my humble opinion, you should just keep it simple. Now, for a traditional ceremony, I'll run 2 tripods, 3 cameras, and at least 3 to 4 audio sources. I definitely always recommend you have multiple audio sources opposed to multiple cameras, because audio is the lifeline of your story and you want to make sure that you get this right. So my audio solution is to use the Tascam DR10L Pros on the groom and the officiant. I'll use the Instamic Pro on the bride, and then I'll have a backup solution plugged into the DJ soundboard if there is a DJ present during this time. For my cameras, I'll generally have a 3-camera setup, one on the left, one on the right, and a safety angle in the back. My left and right angles are going to be my intimacy angles. So this is going to be a 35 to 150 or a 70 to 200. You can also get away with using a 24 to 70, especially if you're using it on a crop sensor camera like the A7 IV. That way you can get a little bit more reach during this intimate moment. But for my last wedding, I actually just stripped things down and only used 2 cameras. I had one safety angle in the back, and then I had my handheld setup capturing everything else. And honestly, this felt so much better. It gave me so much more creative freedom. I didn't feel tethered to all of my different angles or worried about all of my different angles. And I could really focus in on being intentional with what's in front of me, which I think is honestly the best tip when it comes to filming a ceremony beautifully. As long as you have one safety angle, having a handheld setup on you at all times so that you can be mobile and move around the ceremony is going to help you get a lot of variety during this moment. And that way you don't have to overthink it. And as you grow and get more gear, you can expand your coverage. But honestly, the best tip is just to keep it simple. And honestly, the more ceremonies you do, the easier this part of the day will become, because you kind of know the choreography a little bit more. You know the order of events, so to speak. When the bride enters, you got her shot, the groom reaction, you've got the opening monologue, you switch around to the center of the aisle, and then you go from left to right capturing parents' reactions, you get different angles of the bridal party, you get the close-up of the ring exchange, and then you get back in the center aisle for the kiss and the final exit. But if you're a visual learner like me and you need some inspiration, I have included a ceremony shot list down below that you can use at your next wedding so that you can prepare, plan ahead, and know exactly which shots you need for your story. But before we go any further, I want to pause real quick and talk about something that's just as powerful as visuals, and that is, of course, your music. And I'm not just talking about the music that you've been hearing in the background, I'm talking about the right song that takes a wedding film from feeling, oh, that was nice, to holy shit, I've got chills. And for me, that magic really comes from one place, and that of course is Musicbed. And it's honestly been my secret weapon for years now. Every track on their platform is handpicked, cinematic, and designed to feel like it belongs in a story. Whether I need something soft and emotional, slow and soulful, or powerful enough to carry the weight of an entire scene, Musicbed delivers. Their incredible music library is honestly what sets them apart. And they're honestly not just standard stock tunes that are made for everyone. They're made for filmmakers like you and me, the ones who really care about telling a powerful story. And the best part is you can try them out for completely free. They're offering a 14-day free trial so that you can see and feel the difference for yourself. So ditch the generic, royalty-free stuff and start elevating your films with music that your couples deserve. The link's down below, and I promise you, your films and your couples will thank you later. And a big question you're probably asking yourself is, how do you retain focus on those cameras that you are just setting and forgetting? And the secret really is autofocus, but sometimes autofocus can be finicky. Maybe you have a camera that's not that great in autofocus. Maybe that's a camera that you're hoping to get later down the road. And there is a secret trick that I use at every single wedding to retain my focus so that I don't have to stress out too much when I get back in the editing room and I'm just praying, keeping my fingers crossed that everything was in focus. But you can always use the f-stop trick. So with your safety angles, set your aperture to 5.6 or higher so that everything within your frame retains its focus. That way you don't have to stress or worry on whether or not you actually got the shot. And another helpful tip is just to treat every wedding ceremony as if you only have one camera running. Even if you have a safety angle, even if you have multiple cameras running, even if you have a second shooter, treat this moment as if you are the only camera, the only person that can capture every single moment and make it perfect. And that might seem like a counterintuitive method to alleviating some of the pressure, but really it's not meant to. It's honestly meant to help you safeguard this moment for your couple and just ensure that you're capturing a different perspective, something that could really complement your safety angles and really elevate the scene that you're building. So that means when I'm handheld, I'm capturing the bride's entrance, I'm capturing the groom reaction, I'm capturing the opening monologue, the handoff, I'm capturing the vows from both sides, I'm capturing the ring exchange, I'm capturing the kiss and the exit, and I'm capturing guest reactions. So I'm moving all over the place during the ceremony so that I can make this scene feel immersive later on in my edit, so that I can really capture everyone's faces and how it really felt during this time for the couple. And I will say, I'm able to do this much more fluently because I have the experience, because I've really learned the choreography over the years on what really goes into a wedding ceremony. What's the flow of events? I've done my homework, I've done the planning, I know the space I'm filming in. And really, if you want to capture the ceremony beautifully, it really just boils down to the 5 Ps. Proper planning prevents poor performance. Say that 5 times fast. Proper planning prevents poor performance. Proper planning prevents poor performance. That's really hard to say 5 times fast. And the next tip on filming a wedding ceremony solo is really all about positioning. And a good rule to follow when it comes to filming the ceremony solo is the 180-degree rule. When you're capturing action on one side, such as the groom's reaction, especially during the bride's entrance, you want to film these moments on the same side so that when you edit them together, the cuts feel natural and intentional. If you cross over that line, this is where you're breaking that visual continuity and it can create a disconnect within your film. But the last and final tip when it comes to filming a ceremony solo is to over-communicate. Make sure that you're talking with the photographer beforehand. Let them know where you're gonna be, let them know what you need, and certain angles that you prefer they try to avoid stepping in front of, mainly your safety angles. Just make sure if they're going in that direction, they just be mindful of your tripods. Now, not every photographer is gonna be mindful. Some just don't have that level of awareness or empathy towards other creatives. That's gonna happen from time to time. But the truth is, most photographers are really great collaborators when you approach them with clarity and respect. So be clear, be kind, and just be ready to pivot if things go south. You know, I've had photographers step in front of my camera angles during pivotal moments like the vows, the first kiss. These things are gonna happen from time to time. And you just have to be ready to adapt, ready to pivot, and ready to reposition yourself quickly so that you can still get what you need for the sake of serving your couple. And when you have a well-oiled creative machine on the wedding day, honestly, it makes capturing weddings solo so much easier. It honestly alleviates a lot of that pressure and a lot of that stress. And it makes it easier to film the day with a minimal setup. Because the truth is, you don't need as much as you think you do. You don't need 5 camera angles during the ceremony. It's nice, it's good to have, but it's not a must-have. Now, I do think it's important to safeguard these moments for situations such as the photographer stepping into your frame or an unexpected family member jumping up with an iPad halfway in the aisle. Safeguarding these moments by having safety angles is just being smart. But again, if you're limited right now, the more you grow, the more that you can expand your coverage. But to film a powerful ceremony, it just really boils down to experience. Knowing what are the key moments, knowing what matters most to your couple, knowing the choreography of most traditional ceremonies, having a game plan set with the photographer, knowing the timeline in and out, the processional, who's entering when and where during what song, all of those things matter when it comes to filming the ceremony beautifully. Because if you know what's coming next, you don't really have to second guess. And again, it boils down to the 5 Ps. Proper planning prevents poor performance. But thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope you found this video helpful and valuable in some way. If you did, it would mean so much if you consider liking and subscribing. Don't forget to grab the shot list for the ceremony down below. And until next time, keep creating and telling beautiful stories. Peace.